are gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. Gods are gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like the Israelite. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Ooh, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God is gonna trouble. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Oh, see that band all dressed in red. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Ooh, it looks like the band that Moses led. Gods are gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children. In the water. God is gonna trouble, yes he will. The water. Oh,
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can I just say thank you, for joining me today. Yes, my name is Queen Kimberly. First and foremost, we always give praises to the Most High God, who is our covering, who is our healing, who is our protector, who is our healer, who is our protector, right? This is our history education for today. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says, welcome to Thirsty Thursday, Thirst After Righteousness, hashtag history education. I'm coming to you from Women Abiding in the Word of Yah, hashtag movement, because we know that knowledge is power, okay? All right, and we do have a focus scripture that I read every Thursday. And that scripture is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 6, okay? And the scripture says, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled, okay? So as I say every week, you got to be hungry, you got to be thirsty, you got to thirst after these things, for you shall be filled, okay? All right. So, yes, we are still talking about our very own Araminta Minty Ross, known as Harriet Tubman, also known as Moses. Okay. So, our topic for today is John Tubman. All right. We are going to be talking about John Tubman today. All right. So, which we probably read about her, learned that John is Harriet's husband, So before we dig into John Tubman, I want to kind of just give you just a little small of a recap, some pinpoints that was brought out maybe, a few weeks from before. So I want you to remember that Harriet's mom was a cook in the big house on the plantation, which was owned by Mary Patterson Brodess, okay? So Harriet's mother was a slave, and Harriet's mother was a cook in that house. Harriet's mother's name is Harriet Ritt Green, okay? Harriet's birth name is Araminta Ross, okay? Her father, he managed a timber business by a near plantation, so he was a slave as well. There are some things, documented that he was free man, he was a slave. So, do your research, but he managed a timber business, okay? Ritt, which is Harriet's mom, and her father, Ben Ross, that's where you get Araminta Minty Ross. Ben Ross, they basically tried to keep their family together, right? They tried to keep their family together. Harriet had 4 brothers. Harriet had 4 sisters. She was one of 9 children, okay? During, the time of the children being, all just being brought up on the plantations, just another recap. Remember, Harriet worked as a child. She was sent out to different farms. She was working on those farms. She was getting whipped if babies was crying because she was a babysitter at different farms. She had to, pull the muskrat tracks out of the freezing cold river, which we talked about before, right? All these different things Harriet experienced as a child. And also, when she had her injury on her head, which left her with narcolepsy and also those sleeping spells where she would talk to God and have visions and dreams after that trauma to her head. Okay. So Edward Broadus, which was the son of Mary, sold two of Harriet's sisters. Okay. They tried to sell her brother, and the mom was just like, hey, you know what? You are not taking my son. She hid him for a while. She hid him. Some other, slave women and men helped hide him until, those masters around that time in the plantations in Dorchester County was just like, you know what? Forget it. We don't want him. Right. So note, two of Harriet's sisters were sold, and also one of her brothers almost got sold. Okay. So that kind of gives you just a recap of, where we're at right now. And once again, our topic for today is John Tubman, which was Harriet Tubman's first husband. As you can see, let me put my finger right. Harriet. This is Harriet right here. Harriet Tubman. Araminta Ross, also known as Moses. Okay. All right. So let's talk about John Tubman. There's some very interesting things about him. There wasn't a lot, but there was some things that I learned that I want to share with you. Okay. First things first. He was born around 1820, and he was born in Dorchester, Maryland. Okay. And when I talk about these things, I kind of want to bring up a picture. I want to pull it up, take a look at it. This is John Tubman, and that's Harriet Tubman. Right? This was her first husband. Research it. I don't own the rights to these pictures, but if you look it up, you will see these pictures of them. Okay. I'm going to keep this picture up while I talk about them because it kind of gives you more of a visual to kind of understand, someone's life, because we never know what that life felt like for him. Right? All right. John Tubman. He was born around 1820 in Dorchester, Maryland. Okay. His mother's name was Priscilla Tubman, and his father's name was Thomas Tubman. Didn't catch too much information on those two, but their names are, definitely documented. So that is his mother and his father's real name. Did you know that John Tubman was a free Black man? Okay. So while he was growing up, he was a free Black man. I don't know how he became free. I don't know if he was born free. The documentations and Wikipedia states that he was a free Black man. Okay. So think about that. Harriet Tubman married a free Black man. Okay. So when we say he was a free Black man, let's look at how did they meet. Okay. So how did Harriet and, John Tubman meet? Think about how you met your spouse or your husband or your wife. How did they meet during a time of slavery, right? Or a time where we were told we were nothing, during a time when we were abused and whipped and basically built this country, America, on our back. How did these two meet? In the midst of all their trials and tribulations, how did they meet? So Harriet met John on a plantation in Dorchester County. Doesn't say which one. I couldn't find which one. But Harriet obviously was working in the plantation because she was a slave. And John was a free man. So she met him, on a plantation in Dorchester County. Okay. So before we kind of dig into that, I want to, just give you some important facts during slavery before we kind of dig more into, John Tubman. Okay. So I want you to remember Marrying an enslaved person took away many rights from the free party, which took away many rights from a free person. If you married a slave, there's some things that goes along with that. So some of those things would be, by law, the children took after the mother's legal status, right? So let's just say Harriet, if she had children by John Tubman, she will be considered, her children will be considered slaves because she's a slave. So the children took after the mother's legal status. If they had any children, they'll be born a slave, just like Harriet. Harriet was born a slave, okay? Some other important facts during slavery and marriage is marriage could be made legal only if Harriet's master approved of it, right? So that's another thing. Think about that, guys. Think about that, ladies. Think about that, queens. Think about that, kings. Slave woman marrying a free man, but my master has to approve it, right? Look at the times that we were in. I bring these things out because I want you to remember that these things weren't that long ago. Remember, we're talking almost 200 years ago, right? So those are some important facts that I wanted you to remember, okay? All right. So yes, Araminta Ross and John Tubman married each other in the year of 1844, okay? She was a slave. He was a free man, okay? Now, I don't want to move forward too much because we didn't even talk about the Underground Railroad. We didn't talk about why she ran. We didn't talk about any of those things, but I want to share some things with you that might tie into that. But we're going to focus on John Tubman and Harriet. Harriet shared her dreams of being a free woman, to her husband. This is her husband. She's a slave. She wants to be free like him. She wants to get out of slavery. She's ambitious. She's courageous. She knows what's right. She knows what's wrong. She knows that she can be free. And she shared her dreams of being a free woman to her husband. Take a wild guess what John Tubman said to her. All of my theologians who probably know the answer, yes. Her husband said no. John Tubman said, I am not running with you. I am not leaving. I am already free. And this is his wife he's talking to, right? They didn't share the same dreams. They didn't share the same goals. He even persuaded her to stay. Just stay as a slave. Stay here. We'll try to get you free. Harriet's like, no, I want to be free. I want to be free. Even though her husband said no, guess what? Harriet's mind was made up. It was already made up. She knew she wanted to be free. So this is just some pinpoints that are here that are documented that you can find out for yourself. Read them in your library. Find out this information if you really want to know about your history, not just during February. Let's learn these things all year around, okay? Harriet's mind was made up. Have you ever made a decision in your life when you say, you know what? My mind is made up. Some people who you love, some people who you're married to, who you're close with, they may not believe in what you believe in, right? They may not, want to do the things that you want to do, right? They may not want to share the same dreams and goals as you. That's why you got to know that person before you get in a connected with that person. I don't even know why I'm going there, but when your mind is made up and the decision is right for your heart, do it. You know why? Because Harriet did it. Her mind was made up. She was focused. I am running. I'm leaving this place. I'm tired. I want to be free. The people up north are free, but we're still slaves down here in the South, right? Think about that. Just kind of think about that, okay? So her mind was made up, all right? Did you know? So we're going to fast forward a little bit, and then we're going to end it pretty soon because I want to tell you how he died as well. Did you know she escaped and she came back. Did you know when she came back, John Tubman was married? Can you imagine how hurt, how disappointed she was, how distraught she was? Can you imagine what it was like to open that door and say, John, I'm back. I'm coming back for you. I found my way to freedom. I'm coming back for you. I want you to come with me as my husband. And she came back and John was already married. He married someone else while she was gone. He didn't have any faith. He didn't believe she was coming back. He didn't believe in the passions and the dreams of his wife. These things are important. So during that time, John, he remarried. So we know that she was hurt. It was a betrayal, It was a lot of things Harriet experienced in these time frames that's not really brought out to us. So, that's something that she experienced in her life as she came back for her husband as a free man, to let him know, like, I found my way to freedom, come with me. And, he had already married someone else, right? So she was definitely hurt by this, right? So, time went on. They don't really, the history, when you research and everything, there's not a lot more that I can tell, like what had happened, like in between that time frame. But these are some things I was able to pull out, right? And I was able to find how John Tubman died. The death of John Tubman. Did you know he was shot dead by a white man named Robert Vincent during a roadside argument? Think about that. Now, John already remarried, he already had a few children. I believe his wife's name is Caroline. Don't mark my word. I can look it up. But he was a free man walking in Dorchester County where he was free, right? He was walking on the side of a road and he got into an argument with a white man named Robert Vincent. Robert Vincent shot him dead over an argument on the road. That's how he died. Do the research for yourself, look it up, right? Also, what I also found was, did you know that Robert Vincent was found not guilty by an all-white jury? What does that sound like? Let me say it again. Robert Vincent was found not guilty for killing a free man over an argument by an all-white jury. What does that sound like? If you ask me, it sounds like what we're going through today. We are still dying. We are still dying the same way. Right? So I'm going to just leave it at that. I hope you enjoy, the history of John Tubman, because a lot of things are usually not brought out about him. So I hope you enjoy that. And all I can say is we are still dying the same way. I need you to do your history, understand your history, and, start trying to humble yourself and gain an understanding. Even though all those things had happened during that time, look at the way he died. Look at the way he died. I was talking to my mentor earlier today, and, all we can say is return back to God. We have to, because God has to awaken you. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson of, history education, which we talked about John Tubman. And then we will definitely be back next Thursday with some more information. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also subscribe to our Facebook page. Leave me your comments. I love constructive criticism, and I also love to hear from you. And we thank you for watching. Shalom. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Bye.